What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, and welcome to the top 10 exclusives on PS4 to watch out for this year. Hopefully, with a little luck, maybe some prayers, and we eat our vitamins and things like that, we'll see at least some of these released this year. Not all of them have a release date. In fact, only one of the following has a release date, but still, some of these should release this year, and they're games to get excited about. So let's go ahead and jump in right away. Obviously, Spider-Man is a big franchise. Insomniac Games has a big pedigree for doing the open world games. It's a game that I'm definitely going to buy. Spider-Man looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully they don't let us down with too many QTEs or things like that. But from the outset right now, that game looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm very excited. Hopefully we do release it this year, and we can play it as fans, as a PS4 owner. I definitely want to be able to play this game as soon as possible. Next up would be God of War, of course. I'm a huge God of War fan. I love God of War. God of War 3, God of War 2, God of War 1. Even the PSP God of Wars I thought were absolutely phenomenal. They did a really good job with them. Some of my favorite games were those PSP God of War games. In fact, I rebought them multiple times. They even made remakes of those on the PS3, I believe, and so I had to make sure to get those there as well. So even though they've changed up the game quite a bit from what we're used to, I still have high hopes that the game is going to turn out pretty damn good. At least graphically it looks good. Maybe the non-jump and no platforming sections is a bit of a change-up that some people might dislike, but I'm at least willing to give it a chance. And at the end of the day, this list is about games that a lot of people could be excited for. Even though I'm personally not excited for some of these, I know that my audience probably is excited for some of these as well. Next up would be Detroit Become Human. This is another one of those games, sort of think a bigger budget Telltale type of game if you haven't played them, like Heavy Rain was one like this. There's not a whole lot in the gameplay department. It's a lot of QTEs and kind of walking around, and if that's what you're into, I think you would probably enjoy this game. A lot of people are saying that they're really excited to play it. For me personally, it's one that I probably won't get, but I can understand why some people would be excited for it. It does look good. It's got an interesting type of story to it, but at the end of the day, it's just all opinions. It is supposed to be coming out this year, so maybe it will. Hopefully it will if you're excited. I want you to get games that you want. Next up would be Days Gone. This is another game that doesn't really interest me too much, but, there are a lot of fans out there, a lot of people that are excited for this game. Zombies, riding on a bike, third-person, kind of open-world-esque type of game. I can see the appeal for some people with this game, and if you're very excited for it, they are saying it's supposed to release sometime this year. So I think it would be cool if it does. I don't know how Sony would get so many of these bigger titles released in the same year, but hopefully this one does. Up next, Shadow of the Colossus. Now, this is, I believe, one of the only of two games that has a release date so far on this entire list. This is a remake of the remastered of a PS2 game. So it was a PS2 game, and then they remastered it on PS3, and now they're remaking it on PS4. So I know this game has some particular fans, and it comes out this year, not too long from now actually, so if you're really interested in it, be on the lookout for it. Next up, Media Molecules Dreams. I know they're doing some kind of beta with this. It still kind of reminds me a bit of Little Big Planet with like the bubbles and the build your own stuff, but some people are probably interested in this. Definitely one of the smaller, I wouldn't say AAA titles, but maybe AA to maybe be excited about. So this is some good news for people out there, especially if you are a Little Big Planet fan and want to see what they do in the future. So next up, obviously, I'm going to mention this game called Wild. Maybe you haven't heard of it, maybe you have, but if you haven't heard of it, it's actually a very interesting, smaller game. You play as a shaman, and you actually can explore this huge world and carve your own path. Every animal that you see can be tamed, and you can, kind of ride a bear if you want to or whatever. Have your own wolf pack. It looks very interesting to me, even though it's like a smaller budget game. And again, not every game has to be a big AAA billion-dollar budget. This one looks pretty interesting, and I think that that's awesome. I am looking forward to it. Next up, Shenmue 3. Apparently, this was a game that they say is still on track for this year. So hopefully, after years and years and years of waiting, we'll finally be able to get this game. They've already said it's not going to be as big or as lush as like a normal AAA game would be, but hopefully we finally get to figure out what his story is, where his story ends. It was always scheduled to be a 3-part game, and now we finally get that last part. Next up, the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have no idea if this game's actually releasing this year, because when I was doing research for it, it's actually harder to find 10 confirmed games for this year than you would think. So I'm just going to put this one up because I know a lot of people like this game. I've never played this game in my life, but I know a lot of people like swear by it. So hopefully this one releases for you guys. And last but not least, the last game, this one does have a release date, Ni no Kuni 2. Revenant Kingdom. This is some kind of RPG. I never played the first, but I do understand that people enjoy this series, and the game's coming out and it actually has a release date. So there is that. Are you guys looking forward to any of these games? Let me know. Sound off in the comment section. Rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.